Hi guys, so general mobility. We're going to start with our neck, okay? We have three basic movements that we call yes, no, and okay. They're very, very simple. They go like this. Fingers are pointed down towards the ground, okay? From here, the chin comes onto the chest. Then you're going to look straight up. This is a yes. Okay, so all the way down, then up. All the way down, and up. Okay, from here, no. Okay, looking straight ahead, chin comes over the shoulders, back to the middle, and back. Over the shoulders, straight ahead again. Just repeating this process, holding it at the end range for a fraction of a second, nice and simple. Down. From there, okay. For this, it's a very small range of motion. We're going to, again, point these fingers down, and it's the ears coming to the side of the shoulders. From here, we're going to just drop the ear, then back to the middle. Making sure that we don't raise the shoulders, okay? The whole idea is to kind of have these fingers pointed down, so we depress the shoulders, and then get that stretch through that upper trap. Okay, so just repeating this, nice and simple. And back, okay? And you do that for prescribed numbers of reps and sets. From here, we're gonna go into cat-cow. So, hands are under the shoulders, knees are under the hips. We're gonna breathe in. As we breathe in, we're gonna tuck the chin onto the chest and push the ground away from us. As you breathe out, you're gonna look up and really sink that tummy down towards the ground. Again, breathe in, nice and big, push the ground away. As you breathe out, chin, chest, proud. Now, a couple of things here. Make sure that when we come up, we don't sink into the shoulders like this. We want to push the ground away, and we want to look as high as we can to the roof or the sky. Okay, as we breathe in, as we get big to this cat position, really tuck the chin onto the chest. And back down. Okay, and that's our cat-cow. From here, we have thread the needle. Now this is for our upper rib cage, upper back. So similar position to cat-cow. Hands can be slightly ahead of the shoulders. We're going to feed one hand through, look to the same side, and we're going to bring the side of the shoulders onto the ground and back up. Notice, I'm bending my elbows on the opposite side, okay, and I'm keeping my lower back fairly flattish. So again, and back up. Now, we want to make sure that we don't end up sitting back onto the heels, okay? So we want to make sure we, again, bring the hands straight across us as well, rather than sitting back and behind us, okay? So, just repeating this process again, look to the same side, and back up. One more time, send the head through, side of the head comes towards the ground, and drive it up, okay? And that's our thread the needle. Now, from here, we're going to go into very, very simple ankle rocks, okay? So, what we're going to do is we're going to sit back onto the heels, we're going to just sway backwards and forwards, opening the shins, okay? From here, we're going to curl the toes and make sure you get the little pinky guy out, okay? And we're going to, again, look to sit back onto those heels and back it off. Now, this can be quite uncomfortable sometimes, especially for people who spend most of their day, you know, kind of with shoes on, okay, kind of especially tight shoes, high heels and things like that, okay? So just start gentle. Make sure it's not on toes, but rather ball of your feet. You can even place your hands on the ground and just nice and simple rock forwards and backwards like this. Okay, and that's our simple ankle rocks. Now, from here, we're going to go into little wrists, okay? Now, we've got 4 fundamental movements for the wrist. They are fingers pointed straight ahead, okay? From here, fingers are nice and spread, push the ground away from us, and we're just gonna rock forwards and backwards initially. And if you're comfortable with this, we're gonna slowly start to make little wrist circles, going one way, then going the other way. Okay, a couple of things to really bear in mind here, guys. Really making sure the elbows are locked, okay? So I want to see the crease of the elbows facing forwards, okay? And we want to see the upper back almost a little bit protracted. What that means is I'm pushing the ground away. So again, I'm not here doing this, okay? So I'm pushing the ground away, rocking side to side, and little wrist circles. From here, the second variation is going to be fingers pointed to the side. Okay, for this, hands come a little bit closer rather than too wide, okay, but they don't need to be touching together. Again, we're going to make sure that we're pushing the ground away, elbows are locked. Again, we're going to start to make little wrist circles. Okay, third variation is going to be fingers pointed back towards ourselves. Push the ground away again. You can sit back if you need to. You can bring your knees close if it's really tight. We're going to sit backwards and forwards again. And little wrist circles. Okay, we want to make sure we're pushing the ground away from us as well. Going one way, then the other way. Now the last variation, okay, it's in the back of the wrist, not the knuckles, back of the wrist. So this square bit here. So we're going to slowly place one hand down, looking to straighten the elbow. Same thing on the other side. Back of the hands, straighten the elbow. Notice I'm pushing the ground away. Okay, here if it's okay, I'm gonna again go into little wrist circles, going one way, then the other way. Okay, from here we're gonna go into something called a gorilla grips, which means my fingers are nice and planted, and I'm gonna squeeze my fingers and then release. Squeeze my fingers and release. Squeeze my fingers and release. Okay, now any of those movements, okay, if you can't straighten your elbows, that's okay. Okay, so even if you're here, okay, and you're like this, we can just go with one hand, we can post the other hand on the outside, slowly just looking to straighten the elbows. So rather than rocking forwards and backwards, you're going to work on seeing if you can lighten up and down, lighten up and down, okay? So there's the right progression for everybody, okay? Now from here, we're gonna go into something called the runner's lunge, okay? So runner's lunge is for our hips. We're gonna start with one knee up, one knee down. Both hands are in line with the front feet. We're gonna curl the back toe, lift the back knee up. Now most of you, okay, will start to kind of have the knees down and you'll move your weight quite far forward. So let's kind of rock forwards and backwards initially to kind of get the idea of where the weight distribution is. Is it the front leg or the back leg? We wanna find a halfway point. We're gonna hold everything still. I wanna posture up, so chest proud. Then we're gonna drop the elbow closest to the front leg, down towards the ground for 3, 2, 1. Same arm up, pushing away. 3, 2, 1. And again, 3, 2, 1. Into high rotation, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so setting up on the other side, same thing. One knee up, one knee down. Both hands in line, curl the back toe, lift the back knee up. Now, again, rock forwards and backwards to find that halfway point. Then you're gonna hold everything still. Drop yourself with the elbow, 3, 2, 1. As you come up, guys, wanna make sure we don't sink into the shoulders. So we wanna push. Imagine someone's lifting us up without lifting the hips up, right? So dropping the elbows, 3, 2, 1. Push the ground away, nice and tall, 3, 2, 1. And down, okay? And that's our runner's lunge. Next up, downward dog. Okay, so we've got two variations here for the calf and then into the hamstring, okay? So what we're gonna do here is similar to cat-cow position, okay? Fingers are nice and spread. I'm gonna curl my toes, lift my knees up, and look at this, really important. My head comes through the hand, I push my hips back and up in the air. Now from here, I wanna make sure we're not cranking the neck up by looking up, or we're dumping into the shoulders. So really push the ground away from us. From here, slight bend in one knee for 3, 2, 1, then slowly changing, 3, 2, 1. I want to make sure that we don't shift our weight side to side like this, right? So keep everything else still, push the ground away, then bend one knee. 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. That's for our calves, okay? Now from here, you can come off, you can shake your wrist off, hands off, whatever you need to do. But then we're gonna turn it into a little bit hamstring and lower back. So same thing again, head comes through the hands. Keep looking at your toes. You're gonna slowly walk your hands towards your feet and back down. Okay, now if you're really, really tight, okay, you may start to bend your knees. So we're gonna back it off, right? So it's really, really important we understand that we wanna drive the heels back towards the ground, even if they don't touch the ground, head through and just coming up, hold for a fraction of a second and then back down. Make sure, again, we're not dropping into the shoulders, we're pushing the ground away from us, okay? Head through and back up and down. If you're really mobile, walking your hands up, really pushing the knees back, keep the heel of the palm onto the ground and back down. Okay, so you wanna make sure, okay, that you have your heel of the palm on the ground, okay, and back down. Now, a couple of tips with that. The tighter you are, I would generally advise you to kind of have your legs a little bit wider and then walk up, right? Even if you're here, back it off there, stay there, then back down. If you're really mobile, feet can be closer together. Push the head through, same thing again, same technique. And back down, right? So the idea is the tighter you are, the wider the legs are, to give you that nice little stretch to the back of the legs and the lower back. And then the more mobile you are, legs are a little bit closer together, so you're gonna feel that extra tension. Okay, we wanna build strength in that area as well as flexibility. Now, from here, we're gonna go into our Cossack squats. Now, that requires us to stand up. For this, the toes will be pointed straight ahead, nice and tall, and you're gonna sit into one corner, sit into your heel with the hands straight ahead. Make sure our hands are not drifting away. So you wanna keep the hips and chest facing forward, nice and tall, and then to the other side. Sit down and pull yourself down for 3, 2, 1, then nice and tall. Looking from sideways, we want to make sure we sit back onto those heels and nice and tall, not staying tall here and can't move, not being able to move to the side. Okay, so again, move to the side, sit into here, pull yourself down, weight through the heel for 3, 2, 1, nice and tall, and again, 3, 2, 1, nice and tall. Okay, so part of our general mobility, okay, is some activation drills as well. So what we're going to do here is, we're going to go into something called a skydiver. This is to switch everything on the back of our body on. Okay, so things that we can't see that needs to be working, okay, we're going to try to switch on. So for this, we're going to lie on our front, head to the ground, palms are faced up, okay, legs can be a little bit wider. All we're going to do here is, we're going to come up, we're going to roll the shoulders back, squeeze the shoulder blades and squeeze the backside to lift the legs up and down all the way. And up and down. Now notice, as I come up, my palms are facing down towards the ground because I'm rolling my shoulders open and squeezing my shoulder blades, okay? And I'm really squeezing the backside to lift the legs clean up off the ground, not bending my knees, right? The other thing is, I'm not going slow. I am snapping it up, hold, and back down. Coming up, hold, and back down. So the idea is to fire everything up, okay? Do hold it for a fraction of a second or a second, okay? But make sure it's not slowly, okay? So you're not trying to switch one thing on, then the other thing on. You want everything to work together. From there, we're gonna go into glute raises. So that for that, you're gonna lie on your back, heels on the ground, post your hands up, okay? Either side. We're gonna squeeze the backside to lift the hips up off the ground and back down. Hips up off the ground and back down. Now, a couple of things here. The further the legs are, the more hamstring comes into play. So play around with the placement of your feet. Okay, now generally I like to say, imagine you're gonna pick your toes up a little bit so you drive through the heels so you can feel the backside come into play a lot more, right? So, you know, maybe a little bit wider, maybe closer, but generally speaking, when you come up, you wanna squeeze the backside to lift the whole, okay, the hip up off the ground. Okay, the other thing is, I don't wanna see this big crank of the lower back, right? So we're slow control, coming up, all the way down, kiss the ground, drive it up, kiss the ground, drive it up, kiss the ground. Want to make sure, okay, that we don't slowly do the yoga sort of bridge, okay? The idea is, again, fire the backside up and down, okay? Now, from here, the last activation drill that we have is a plank, okay? Now, plank, elbows under the shoulders, okay? Feet can be either a little bit wide or close together. I don't mind, but it's really about this posterior tilt, right? So we're going to come onto the ball of our feet, pop it off, posterior tilt, neck nice and long. I want to push the ground away from me so I'm not sinking into the shoulders, guys. Okay, from here, I'm going to make sure my heels are going, okay, back towards the ground. So again, I'm coming into the ball of my feet. I'm spreading my workload, my kind of strength from my upper body and lower body, okay? And I'm bridging that gap using my tummy. Tilt, nice and strong, and you maintain that tilt. You should feel this through everything to the front, okay? And back down. And that's our general mobility.